doctor said, "Sir, you're in remarkably good shape for 85 years old." Guy said, "Thank you, doctor, and if you don't mind my asking, how much longer do you think I might live?" Doctor said, "Well, do you drink? Do you smoke?" I said, "No, I've been sober 45 years. I quit smoking in my 20s. Doctor said, "Well, what about a lot of fast cars, a lot of dating?" Guy said, "No, I ride a bicycle. I haven't dated since Loretta passed away." Guy said, "Do you eat a lot of red meat and dessert?" "Nope, I'm a vegan." So how much longer do you think I'll live? The doctor said, "Well, if that's what you call living, why do you care?" All right, now I feel like we can start. Today we're going to talk about faith healing. I got a hernia. I had given myself 6 months to lose weight before my 40th birthday, not because I wanted to look great on my birthday itself, but the morning after, waking up, feeling like crap, gray and pasty, and I didn't want to be flabby too, so I planned ahead. I gave myself 6 months to prepare. Then I spent 4 of them sitting around reading for a research project. So I jumped into exercise and pop! My stomach muscles tore and my guts popped out. I showed it to Elizabeth. She made me an appointment to see a doctor. They measured me, they stood me on a scale, and they told me that I was overweight. Well, yeah, that's why I was exercising. But it was still humiliating, the doctor in his white coat and glasses and his charts telling me that I'm overweight. Then he told me that I'm also 5'9". I said, whoa, wait a minute. I'm 5'10 3/4. I demand a recount. Oh, he said, well, in that case, your weight's fine. But a doctor had said it. And I still haven't healed. Even after the hernia surgery, I still have not recovered from hearing a doctor say that. Even though the guy was younger than me, with scruffy facial hair. I don't even think that's allowed. But the guy in the white coat said it. He had shown me a chart with colored dots and a line. He pointed to the dot. I don't know, it was in the orange. I was over the line, a line I'd never heard of before. I couldn't read the chart. He just told me the dot was not where it should be. I thought, who created this chart? And who was this doctor anyway? As I get older, doctors keep getting younger. Cops get younger too. I clearly remember when I was 10 and cops were adults. Now they're half my age and carrying guns. I look at them, they're literally closer to my son's age than mine, and they've got loaded handguns. And doctors have prescription pads, and none of them should be younger than me. At 40, I'm just barely beginning to figure out what a human being is, what life is, and I've read a lot of books. Not just novels, I mean books. And if someone has not read The Golden Bough, and doesn't know who Ishmael is, they should not be holding a prescription pad or a gun. So why should it bother me what this kid doctor said? I've been married to a doctor for 14 years. I know they're just people. And yet, they're also more than that. Like, they can tell me to take off my clothes, and I do. I mean, doctors besides the doctor I'm married to. They can touch us in places we've been told since kindergarten, don't let anybody touch you there. They can tell us stuff about ourselves that we don't even know. They're like some kind of secret, mystical priesthood. Some of us here don't believe in faith healing, and some of us do. Like the old laying on of hands, the miraculous touch, or a shaman drumming and singing to wash evil out of us. Cultures around the world used to believe that there were demons, invisible monsters that caused illness. Then along came medical science and proved actually that they were right. A lot of our sickness does come from microscopic monsters, bacteria, viruses, which have become the demons and the new religion of medicine. A doctor is a priest in a white robe. The nurses are like acolytes. The exam table is an altar, and we do this ritual. And we believe that what the doctor prescribes will make us feel better. We don't really know what's in the pills. They come with these long chemical names in Greek, often literally Greek. But maybe it's just cornstarch, we don't know. But we often do feel better because we believe. Like votaries on a pilgrimage, we remove our shoes and our clothes, donning the common vestment of the patient. And then doctors, like oracles picking through animal entrails, read our insides by interpreting external signs. They learned this insight by chopping up cadavers in medical school. They tell us stuff like, cut back on red meat, eat more vegetables, quit smoking, walk a few miles. And we say, yeah. Forget it, I'll come back when it's a crisis and you can fix it with surgery or pills. Or maybe we're genuinely scared and repentant, but then forget it anyway as we leave that sacred precinct. Like a priesthood, they want us to reorganize our lives around their dogma and live it every day. But people don't really do that. They go to the priest and they repent and they say, you pray for me. You're the specialist. Say the words God wants to hear so I can get out of here and get on with my life of sin and luxury. Being healthy, like being religious, is supposed to be a discipline, a sacred daily practice. It's supposed to involve sacrifice, eating less, watching less TV, drinking less alcohol. Elizabeth says the hardest part of being a doctor, she tells people what they need to do in order to be healthy, but they just want a pill to make it less painful to keep living in unhealthy ways. They don't want a daily spiritual discipline. They just want miracles. In the 1850s, people would bring their aches and pains to the traveling medicine show. Fake doctors selling elixirs, the stuff we now call Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper and Pepsi. They would say it was old Indian medicine, and they would hire actual Native Americans to stand behind them, looking solemn and wise. The folks would come up onto the stage all rickety, and then they would drink this stuff, and they would toss their crutches and dance. Of course, now we know it wasn't real Indian medicine. It was cocaine. That was the original Pep and Pepsi. And sure, with some sugar and bubbles and cocaine, it's no surprise if someone got up on stage, felt great for just long enough for them to sell a few hundred more bottles. In the 1950s, if I had said, Doctor, I'm anxious, nervous all the time, and every 45 minutes I want to hit somebody, what would they have prescribed? Cigarettes. They would have said, you, sir, need to smoke more. Light one up every 45 minutes and you'll feel better. I know, but I think this is a genuine water crisis. We don't think of cigarettes as medicine anymore, but they are. They're a mix of chemical and ritual that change the way that people feel. People tell me, oh, you really need to quit smoking. And then I think, yeah, but if I replaced cigarettes with pills, I would be like a human, like maraca. I would sound like a salsa band every time I walk, because I would need so many different things with me. It's awful to think that doctors were prescribing addictive drugs. Surely we are past that. Except they're not. Nowadays they're prescribing something even more addictive and dangerous. Opium. People go to see Elizabeth, they want to renew their prescription, and she says, no, 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 you are addicted to heroin. They say, but that can't be possible. I hurt my foot, and the doctor prescribed OxyContin. Yes, that is morphine, and your foot has been healed for a year. Now you're just an addict. And people feel so betrayed because they believe that the priest, doctor, could not have told them to ingest something that was dangerous. We want to have that faith that what the doctor says is good, is good. Now the new generation of doctors is stuck trying to get parents off of opium prescribed by the former generation of doctors. Medical science is trying to get away from miracle drugs and savior surgeries. It's more like a meditative guru thing now. Heal yourself by listening to your body. Modern medicine. It's fantastic. We've got the greatest, most modern medical stuff in the world. And in 1820, 200 years ago, we had the greatest, most modern medical stuff in the world. But what do our doctors today think of modern medical science from 1820? Barbaric. No rubber gloves, no penicillin. They used leeches. Modern medical science of 1899 killed George Washington. He was sick, yes, but then the hospital killed him. If time travel were invented, who here would want to go back in time 200 years to go to a hospital? And if time travel were invented 200 years from now, who would want to go back in time to a hospital in the year 2020? My guess is nobody. My guess is that 200 years from now, people will say that our modern medical science was barbaric, primitive, awful. I don't know yet what the scientists of 200 years from now will be saying. I only know that they'll be saying that we live in a medicinal stone age. If I had to hazard a guess, it would be doctors. They'll probably be disgusted that we still had human doctors who worked 100 hours a week and were not allowed to take sick days. That's one of the great ironies of modern medicine. In the Byzantine bureaucracy of the medical establishment, doctors don't generally get to practice what they preach. All of us, from the white-robed priesthood down to the paper-gowned sinners, we all spend our lives learning to be mortal. Children get hurt or sick or uncomfortable and they cry their heads off because they're scared. They think this is it. They think this pain and discomfort will be with them for the rest of their lives. You're 3 years old, your foot gets stepped on, it hurts to walk. Is this the next stage in human development? Just when you've learned to walk, now it will hurt every step forever? And your parents say, no, just walk it off. My son Malcolm falls down, he bangs his head, he cries. I tell him, drink some cold water, it'll make you feel better. Then he's not crying anymore. He believes I have limited, miraculous powers as a doctor's husband. Kids get hurt and they think it's forever. Then they grow up and they learn that pain passes and you'll basically be all right. But then comes middle age, when injuries and aches and pains really are forever, when you can break a bone or dislocate a joint, and it really does become the new normal. Now every time some part of my body starts to ache or hurt, I wonder, is this going to be part of my experience of walking for the rest of my life? Then, thankfully, it goes away and I forget about it. Our bodies are constantly changing. Not just childhood and puberty, constant changes. And all through that, we constantly renegotiate with our bodies. We push them, they talk back. Their language is pain. Pain is how the body says, no, you can't do that. Or you do something that worked fine 10 years ago and your body says, no, you can't do that anymore. Pain is how your arms and legs and organs talk to your brain. Pain is the great teacher. From when we're very young, learning our limits, to when we get older and our limits keep changing. Pain teaches us how to be human. It's a lifelong lesson. The rules keep changing as our bodies change. For a long time, we humans have sought medical miracles to make us feel the way we used to feel, to give us pills that will make our bodies feel 20 again. This has made doctors into a priesthood, magicians who can silence those demons in our joints and in our heads. But we're seeing signs that medical science can move beyond that. What my body and I need is a marriage counselor, so that when I say to my body, "You're not as much fun as you used to be," a mediator can say, "Listen to your body. Listen to what it needs now. It's changing." Every religion has those special people who use pain and privation to reach a higher truth, truth of God or truth of self. We gather here, and we all have pains, and we don't need to get into a contest here to see who's got the most. And in the sharing of our joys and sorrows, we lay those pains as an offering on the altar. We share them together as a communion. Pain is the great teacher, not only about ourselves and what we can and cannot do. Pain gives us wisdom, which rises even as our bodies decline. Pain teaches us humility, and that is the necessary step on our journey toward compassion.